I want a new challenge. As I've slipped into routine, I've found myself unfulfilled. You know, when I moved here, everything was against me. Maybe not everything, but it felt like it was. I didn't have an apartment, I didn't have a job, I didn't know how I was going to survive. And ever since rectifying this, ever since getting a job, getting an apartment, getting friends, I've just kind of slipped into a very comfortable life. My job is comfortable. It doesn't even require me to speak French. It's the same thing every day, and it's not challenging. And because my job doesn't actually require me to speak French, my process of learning French, which I came here with a very clear target of wanting to be fluent in French, has really slowed. I haven't been picking up French nearly as quick as I was in my first couple of months here. And I've tried to enroll in government classes, but bureaucracy is a curse. I've been trying to chase them up and, they've been like, oh yeah, we'll call you, we'll call you. They haven't. And the wait times for the actual classes are so long. And honestly, from the people that I know that are in those classes, they've said, yeah, they're not even that good. So I guess I'll do it myself. Now, today I went to the library and I had a few books in mind because my friend has given me a reading list. And one of those books is Giovanni's Room by James Baldwin. But I couldn't find Giovanni's Room, and I was like, okay, cool. Whatever. I can find it somewhere else. But what I did find is La Conversion by James Baldwin. And I picked it up. I thought, okay, a book entirely in French. Never done that before. I guess everything has sort of lined up because recently I've been really thinking about my French and I've just been really frustrated by the fact that, as I mentioned, I haven't been learning it quickly. So when I saw this, a little light bulb appeared. I thought, okay, if I really want to learn French, I'm going to have to challenge myself. I'm going to have to push myself out of my comfort zone. And it's my first ever book that I've read in French. Could I have started on an easier book? Sure. Some of the vocabulary is probably difficult in English in this book. But here I am. I want so badly to be challenged that I don't even mind how slowly I'm reading it. Like, I went to the library this morning, took it out, and I went to a cafe to start reading it. I read like 10 pages before I was like, oh, this is hard. This is tough. So yeah, it's hard, obviously, but I think I'm enjoying the challenge. And maybe I'll have changed my mind in like a week when I've when I've really got sick of reading word by word. But I don't know, mate. What's the big deal? It's hard, so what? And I'm finally reading again. Mum, you're probably watching this. I hope you're proud. I'm finally reading again. But yeah, little sidebar, like I've really been in my reading bag, as the kids would say. I when I was a kid, I was such a reader. I was reading all the time. My mum always tells the story of how I read like one of the Harry Potter books within like a day. It was like, I don't remember which one, but point is, I used to love to read, and then I got into secondary education from like age 11, and suddenly, I had to read for class, and I had to read all these boring ass textbooks and different texts for like English and stuff, and it just killed all the enjoyment, And so now that I am not in school, now that I'm no longer a student for the first time in basically my entire life, I finally picked it up again. And this was the book that I was reading before. I finished it yesterday and I've ordered a new one, but I didn't realize how much I really loved reading this book, But every morning I would read some more of this book. It became like my morning routine, and then this morning was the first morning that I wasn't able to read it. I had such a boring morning. I didn't realize how much I'd miss it. So, went to the library, as I mentioned, to pick up a new book. But a little thought on this book. It's called You Are Eating an Orange, You Are Naked. And it's a really beautiful book. It's about I think it's autobiographical by Shun King. What I really loved about the book is that it's got its very unique tone. It's autobiographical and it's Shun King basically narrating super specific extracts from his life and his relationship with this unnamed woman. And what I found as I was reading more and more, I was narrating my life in the same way. Like my internal monologue became his, which I guess is the sign of a good book, or at least a sign of a book that really resonated with me. I'm not a book reviewer, so I can't really give you any more than that, but I would really recommend it. It's a really great book, and it's quite short. It's like 180 pages, I want to say. But yeah, good book. And when I say I want a new challenge, I'm not trying to tell you to be challenging yourself every single day. You know, the phrase, do something that scares you every single day comes to mind. And I hate that phrase because I think it really plays into, you know, the whole hustle culture, and you should constantly be trying to better yourself. You should be constantly working on yourself. And sure, growth is good. Personal growth is very good and it's very valuable. It's important, right? But why do we have to be doing it constantly? Like, relax. We need a break. We're human. And sure, if we were robots, this phrase would be encouraging and it would be an efficient way to maximize our personal growth. But we're not humans. We need to rest, okay? Like, we need comfort sometimes. And even the sentence that I just said, an efficient way to maximize our like, it's so anti-human. It sounds so robotic, right? Like, imagine how overwhelming your life would be if constantly you were doing something that terrified you. Like, this is not a good way to go about things. So I'm not trying to play into that hustle culture kind of vibe when I say I want a new challenge. Because I like to watch YouTube, I like to watch films, I like to just sit there and eat tiramisu sometimes. And I think with all these phrases that play into hustle culture, it's so easy to just challenge ourselves for the sake of challenging ourselves. Like, what are you really getting out of doing something that scares you? I don't feel like you're really getting that much. You're just scaring yourself. You're just making your life terrifying. Like, people talk about skydiving, right? This is like the best thing I've ever done, and oh my god, it was out of my comfort zone and I feel like a new person. I'm terrified of heights. If I went skydiving, like, yeah, it would push me out of my comfort zone, but it might also push me over the edge. So I'm not gonna go skydiving. I can think of nothing worse than going skydiving just to challenge myself, push me out of my comfort zone. Stop that. But I guess what I want to say is that you don't have to go skydiving every day to challenge yourself, to feel fulfilled. Like, a new challenge can just be as simple as finding a new book, whether it's in another language or it's in a style that you're not really familiar with. If you're learning something, that's great. That's cool. You're doing something out of the ordinary. You're breaking your routine. Because we love comfort, right? I have the same breakfast every single morning. That's comfort to me. But I think it's important that this comfort, that this routine doesn't permeate into every single crevice of my life, you know? I have my things that keep me grounded in my routine, but I also do very impromptu things in, you know, there's a balance, right? Don't go crazy trying to challenge yourself, trying to grow, trying to be the best version of yourself. Try and be the best person of yourself. Try and be the best version of yourself, but chill out as well. Eat some tiramisu. Tiramisu is yummy. I also think, like, the people that are constantly being like, "Rah, rah, rah, rah," I don't think it's productive. You know, if you're constantly on go, if you're constantly giving 110% to something, you never really have time to stop and look around you and be like, huh, I do still enjoy doing this. I think you can so easily get into this routine of constantly challenging yourself and pushing yourself to the point where you lose sight of why you're actually doing it. And then you're just doing it for the sake of challenging yourself. And there's no need. There's no reason. We're on this earth once, right? I'm trying to enjoy my time. And let yourself enjoy your time. Stop chaining yourself up. Stop trying to be this superhuman, because you're not. You're not superhuman. You're great. Like, you're great. But you're not a superhuman. And you need breaks sometimes. Yeah. That's all. That's all I have to say. Thank you for watching. See you next time. And nothing. And nothing. I said and I didn't even know where I was going with it. I guess we're going nowhere. Goodbye.